What's up, everybody? It's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of Tyler Perry's White House comedy drama, The Oval, Season 6, Episode 5, Something to Hide. I don't know. The only person I knew that had something to hide was, I guess, Jason, and we didn't even get to see that, as y'all all saw, because they finally went through that daggone tunnel. So whatever he had to hide, we didn't get to see it. And then again, I guess Richard had something to hide, and that's why Sam is trying to help him elude going to prison. But before we get started with my recap and review, if you are new here or if you're returning here and have not subscribed to this channel as of yet, please take a moment right now and hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell and select all. It'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel. Then I ask that you hit that like button, which is the thumbs up button, write a comment, join the conversation, and share because sharing is caring. Now, the episode starts off how last episode ended with Richard done stabbing his daddy up in the chest or in the side or wherever it was, and Nancy screaming and hollering. She all distraught, feeling crazy. Dale is staring there like, what the hairy heck is going up in here with these black folks? I don't know what's going on. And Rich is telling Nancy to get out of the house. And Nancy is like, I'm not going nowhere. And Dale is telling her he look like he's serious. You need to get out. She's like, I'm in my nightgown. I don't know what's wrong with you, Richard. You crazy? He's like, I don't know what's wrong with you. And he walks into the kitchen with the bloody knife in his hand. And Clarence is on the ground. And what's her name is holding her. Nancy's holding him, and he's like, I deserved it. I'm wrong. She said, no, you didn't deserve this. You didn't deserve it. He said, yeah, I was wrong. And he told her, please don't tell the cops that he stabbed me. I got what I deserved. And she's like, no. And she's telling Dale, get his keys. We got to take him to the hospital. I'm like, Nancy, why don't y'all call the ambulance? Why would Dale put a bloody man in his car and drive and then get pulled over, look like he done did something? Call the ambulance. But anyway, Dale goes in there to get his keys, call himself going to drive or whatever. And Richard's asking him, was he here before? Because Nancy said this, and Nancy said Sam was here. And, Dale trying to act like he ain't in it. His name is Bennett. He ain't in it. He don't want to have nothing to do with it, And they trying to get him to be a part of it. I was like, stop it. So then by the time Dale answered whatever Richard wanted, because Richard was like dead serious, like he wanted to kill him. And I think Dale started remembering what Sam said earlier, that Richard will kill everybody in the damn house. So he was like, Sam knew about it. So anyway, Nancy came in there and said, never mind. He died already. He's dead. He's gone. You crazy, Richard, and all this stuff. You killed him. He said, no, you killed him when you brought him in the house. I said, you see how people change stuff around trying to make it seem like you caused me to do that? You did it your damn self. You made the decision to do it, okay? Stop, Richard, all right? Yeah, Nancy was wrong on her part, but you was dead wrong on your side, too. So then Nancy tells him she's calling the police. Dale, call the police. I said, don't put Dale in the middle of it. Well, so Richard could stab him. Richard was like, I don't care. He said, I don't care. I can stab him again. That's how he felt. And so Nancy went and grabbed her phone, and she went in there and called Sam. And Sam was like, what? What? He did what? He bugging out, finding out that Richard stabbed his father. So he said, look here, don't say nothing to the police, because she told him the police and ambulance was already there. He said, I'm on my way. He gets out of bed. Silly behind, childish behind, Priscilla done put broken glass on the ground. So he had to try to get his shoes over. Thank God they were near the bed. And he put his shoes on. And as he walking out the door, Priscilla is laughing all smug and everything. And he's like, Priscilla, why you gotta be so petty? Why you being so childish and stuff? And she was like, whatever. And she called him like a boy. He said, you acting like a little girl or something, And he said, I need my clothes. She was like, she burned all his clothes up. Come on, Priscilla. She trying to act like she Angela Bassett and waded to his hell. No, you not, girl. You being ridiculous. You doing way too much. She's doing way too much. I don't know. Y'all can put it down in the comment section how y'all feel, but I think she's just she's way out of line right now. He's like, look, Richard done stabbed his father, and Nancy called me. I got to go over there. And she's like, for a minute, she's like, oh my God. And then she's like, oh, well, you a big boy. You need to find a way to get over there. Da, 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 da. I was like, And that's when he's told her, and she acting like a little girl. And she is. She really is. So she leaves and goes over to Richard's house and Nancy's house, and she started throwing her weight around as they standing out there talking to the police officer. And they're not giving him any information, but then she comes over there trying to say some stuff, and Nancy almost told what happened, and she said, you're not saying anything. And the police like, wait a minute, she was being helpful. Now you gonna come in here? Who are you? She said, a friend of the family. And she told him about the attorney. We're going to get the attorney. You'll hear from the attorney. He's like, what do you need an attorney for? She said, look, these people just lost their son. Their son is dead, and now the father's dead. And he said, well, this might tie in. It might be some type of retaliation. She said, well, you won't be finding out information here today, or something like that. And so she goes inside. She tells Dale to take Nancy in. Then she finishes talking to the officer, letting him know that the people in this house, the man works for the White House, and you have to do different things differently, and there's a different protocol, and blah, 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 blah. So then she goes inside the house, and Sam comes. He pulls up, and he steps out of his car with an apron on. He ain't put nothing behind him, just in the front. I was like, really, Sam? And the reporters out there like, ooh, things are getting really strange now up in here. The police officer see him pass by. How come there's only one police officer? I don't know. But anyway, Sam goes in there. Priscilla sees him lock the door. You playing games in Nancy and Richard's house. Now, come on. And he's like, come on, open the door, open the door. Nancy called him, so why are you being petty, Priscilla? I'm going to have to call her Petty Priscilla because she's pissing me off. Pissy, petty Priscilla, I tell you. Anyway, you hear knocking, and Dale is like, what's that sound? Richard said, that's Sam, let him in. And so he lets him in, and Sam asks for some clothes, like, do anybody have some clothes that he could wear? So Dale goes to get something for him to put on. Priscilla sitting there laughing, asking what's going on, what happened. Richard and Nancy are going at each other. Priscilla being funky towards Sam for no reason. We're here for them, not here for your mess. So it gets to the point, Priscilla did ask, where's the knife? And they said, yeah, we got to hide that. That was one thing she did say. But then when they started arguing, Dale tried to say, can't we all just calm down? She's like, shut up. Priscilla's like, shut up. Who's talking? No, who's talking to you, Dale? Like anybody talking to you. He's like, oh, okay, and backed up and stuff. I said, poor Dale always getting yelled at. You know what I mean? So Priscilla asked about Miss Jody next door and her surveillance cameras, and Nancy told her that she's out of town, but the surveillance cameras wouldn't have caught them being stabbed. So that was a good thing because he got stabbed inside of the house and not outside. So Sam tells Richard to come to his house, and Priscilla's like, you don't have a house. And he's like, Richard, come with me to my house. She's like, you don't have a house. And Nancy's like, she ain't leaving her house. So she finally says, Priscilla. And Priscilla had to give in, because Nancy wanted, him to leave. So then they're alone, and Nancy and Priscilla are talking, and Nancy admits that this is all her fault. And Priscilla's like, oh, no, don't say that. I'm like, oh, hell yes, it is her fault. She got crazy. I don't care what happened. You might have gotten drunk, but you were sobered up enough to know what you were saying was going to get under your husband's skin. You know that he crazy. You know he crazy. If Sam knew he crazy, you know he crazy too. So then Priscilla says she has to leave. She has an important event at the White House that she has to attend. So she's like, oh, where's Dale? I want Dale to stay. She said, oh, let me go see if I can catch up to him. And Dale is like, oh, I'm still here. I forgot my keys again. I'll be here. So Priscilla left. Dale stayed, and Nancy tells him she wants some more to drink. And he was like, I don't think it's a good idea. She said, look, I want the same thing I had last night. Get me all the same stuff that I had. She started giving him credit cards, telling him to go shopping. He said, you sure you want me to get that? She said, matter of fact, go buy yourself some clothes. Here, she started pulling out credit cards, putting them there, sending him to the store by himself. Now, how is some little young white boy going to go in a store with a female credit card and buy stuff? You can't just go in there and buy something. The card say Nancy or Richard, and you going in there named Dale. So, but I said, she ain't thinking clearly. But then she said, you know what? I'm going to go with you. She said, we're going to spend up all his money and make him pay for it. And Dale was like, oh, okay. He said, I ain't going to argue with it. And then when Sam and Richard are alone, he's talking to him, trying to figure out a way to hide this and make it go away. He said he knows people, you know people. We could do this, we could do that. We'll say that he went out to the store and got mugged and beat up and stuff. But how did his body get back to the house? So Sam was doing everything in his power to make a way that his boy Richard didn't go down and go to jail for this. Even though Richard was like, I don't care. I'll go to jail. I'll do this. I'll do that. Sam's like, no. We're not having that today. I'm not having it. So he said, just let me know, give me the word. And Richard finally gave him the word, and they're going to work it out and get some guys to make it look like he got beat up and stabbed or somewhere else. Now, these next scenes is where stuff gets crazy. I don't understand why they're in the show, what's happening. We had that scene with Donald and Lily, and he's inviting her to go with him to the White House for a press event or something, press conference, and he wants her standing right there with her. So he's telling her what to wear, what color dress and stuff. And she's like, well, what do you want my nails to look like? What do you want my hair to look like? She said, please tell me so I can fit the part that you want me to look, and then she gets up and wants him to kiss her. And then she walks to the bathroom because he told her she looks a mess or something like that. I was like, damn, she was sleeping. But then she goes away and he's looking at her strangely. And I'm like, maybe he knows somehow that Brian called him, Officer Brian. But doesn't he think that he killed Officer Brian? So I don't know. That was strange to see the way he was looking at her. Then his phone rings. It's Eli. Eli's asking him, did he get in touch with Sam? He's saying Sam didn't answer his phone. But I'll be honest, I don't think that Donald even called Sam. I don't think he wants Sam near Eli for some reason. Whatever it is, that's what I'm thinking. What do y'all think? Put it down in the comment section. So next we see Kyle. He comes into the security desk area where Alonzo is. They say a few words. He starts typing on the computer. I think he just told him to move. He's so rude. And then he pulls something out the back. I don't know if it's some kind of hard drive or something. I don't know what he did. All I know is he said, you didn't see nothing. Alonzo said, no. See what? I haven't seen anything. He said, good. Like, keep your mouth shut and don't say nothing. Then he left. And next thing you know, Alan comes in, and Alan and Alonzo have a brief conversation about how things going. He said it's pretty quiet now, whatever. And then he goes to his office. Alan gets to his office, and there's some woman in there named Rachel, I think she said her name is. And he's like, what are you doing here? Who are you? How did you get in here? And she's like, oh, I came into the North Gate. I followed behind somebody. He said, who let you in? Who let you in? He said, stay right there. He calls down to the North Gate, asking them why y'all let her in and all this stuff. Nobody's supposed to come in the east or the west. He said, you're supposed to come in the main gate. And I'm sitting there going, she says she came in the north. You telling them don't come in the east or west. You're a little confused with what you're saying. But anyway, he got on that case real bad. Then he yelled at her, talking about if the chief of staff find out, you're going to have a problem. You're going to messing with my job and everything else. Get out. Get out and go back where you came from. And she's like, okay. And so she left out, and Kyle came in at the same time. Kyle didn't even look suspicious from her. He should have thought, who is this chick? And he's like, damn, you mean and stuff. And he's like, look, I don't have time for this. And he said, I set it up. I wanted to see if you was on the up and up. I wanted to see how you was going to handle it or whatever, basically. And Alan was like, I don't have time for this. And he wanted to like really punch Kyle in his face, but he's not trying to lose his job or get into it with that fool. So now we in the Oval, and we see Eli and Victoria, they're talking, and she's telling him what Donald's job is for him, to be careful with giving Donald too much praise, because he keeps saying he's doing a great job and stuff. She's like, that's his job. That's what he's supposed to do. But he's supposed to do what you tell him to do, not what he want to do, basically. So then she asks him if he's had breakfast. He said, no. She said, no, let me show you how this works. She picks up the phone and tells them, bring breakfast for 2 to the Oval. And then she hangs up. So now up in the residence, we see Hunter, and he's talking to Agent Isaac, and he goes and knocks on Jason's door and tells him to get up. He said, you're going to take us through that tunnel and show us how to get to there. And this time Jason is like, okay, cool. So it was Hunter, Agent Isaac, and 4 bodyguards or security, whatever they are. They go through the tunnel. And I couldn't believe that Jason agreed this time. But we didn't even get to see what was in the tunnel or anything. And I'm guessing that maybe last night, the night before, Jason took the time to hide whatever it is he didn't want anybody to see. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. But that's the only thing I could think of. Meanwhile, back at that security desk or whatever, Alonzo's still sitting there, and Max comes in. And he and Alonzo are having this weird conversation, calling each other sunshine and honey and baby and honey. But I was like, what are they doing? Are they talking in code, or they're just playing around being silly or something? I don't know. But anyway, Alonzo was saying how he'd been up all night. He had to wait for Max to come in so he could leave and go home. And he said, okay, cool. And then Alonzo asked Max, can I trust you? He said, of course you could trust me. And he tells him, I think they're going to do something to Bobby. So I don't know what Alonzo heard or saw, but he thinks something's going to, they setting Bobby up in some kind of way. So Max thanked him for this information, and Alonzo left. Then Max calls Bobby. and tells Bobby, asks him where he is and said, meet him in the parking lot. And he's like, why? He said, just meet me in the parking lot and I'll tell you what's going on. So that was that. And then the episode basically ended with Victoria and Eli in the Oval eating breakfast, and out of nowhere, that hidden doorway comes Hunter, Agent Isaac, the four bodyguards or security people, and Jason. And Eli sees them first as he looks up from his breakfast, and then Victoria like gets nervous and jumps when she sees people coming around her with those little red beams flashing on everybody. So it ended like that, and they were so unsuspecting of that to happen. He got his legs back. He walked in there, and Victoria Price like, dang, that stuff didn't work. I bet you it's going through her head anyway. So I can't wait to see what happens next week, because it looked like Jason's doing most of the talking. We gonna tell everything you did. We gonna go to the news and tell them you tried to kill me. Y'all conspired together. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh boy, it's gonna get interesting. So y'all put it down in the comment section what y'all thought about this episode, and I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and I will see you all in the next one. It's your girl Barbie J saying peace.